We're up to the end of Ois Beis. So the subject matter right now is, we're not going to repeat all the original questions of the Maimer. We'll get back to that at the end of the Maimer. But to understand the Lashon Rabbi, Mayofis Umanamt Av Betanugim. Why is the pasuk describing the love of the Eibishter in the plural, the love of delight? Surely it's only one. When it comes to Dvarim Gashmim, which begin already, actually not Dvarim Gashmim, but other delights, which begin already in Bri, Yetzirah, and Asiya, after Atzilus, so there's many. But the Likus is one. The answer to that is that the plural here is not two addresses, but two dimensions of the relationship. Oir Pnimi and Oir Chayzer. That was the essence of the answer. Makif and Pnimi. What was the example that he gave to explain Makif and Pnimi here? What was the mashal here in the Maimah? Anybody, please? A mashal of a tainuk Makif and a mashal of a tainuk Pnimi. And he explained that's what Oir Yashar means, and that's the meaning of the words Oir Chayzer. You see it there. It's the second half of the second Ois Beis, which we almost concluded. Okay, so the Tainug Pnimi is good news, unexpected news, but nonetheless that comes in an orderly way that is assimilated by the mind and understood. And then there's overwhelmingly good news. There's good news, that's Tainug. Overwhelmingly good news is a Tainug Makif. It cannot be contained in the Seichel. It blows the circuits. Why did he explain? Why is it called Oir Chayzer? Explains the meaning of Chayzer, Oir Chayzer, Oir Yashar. We understand. It's news that penetrates the mind and heart and remains settled there and contained in it. And the person delights and is very happy with the good news that he got. Not so the sudden, overwhelming news. Why is that called Oir Chayzer? It's the top of the page of the next page, whatever number you have.
It doesn't come out because
What does that mean? Okay, let's spell it out. It's the kind of news that every time the person considers it and constantly is overwhelmed again and again and again, like we're seeing now. You know, he didn't expect, hopeful, but didn't expect the Ladman to return. When the Ladman does, it's completely overwhelming, and it's not for that first moment. It continues thereafter as you consider the situation, what happened, and the Ladman is again, the person is overwhelmed again with tears. So there's the consideration of it in the mind. That's where everything happens. Everything happens because you consider it, entertain it, experience it in the mind. But as the mind experiences it, it immediately is overwhelmed. So that's the meaning of the words of Misyashiv. Any Misyashiv klal doesn't settle. V'yoytzu umistalik v'chayzel imkoyre, and it repeats that. He says even at kleis hanefesh, it can be so overwhelming that the person is so overwhelmed that he literally, is overcome and the soul expires temporarily. It faints from the news completely. Overloads, as it were, the system. The person faints. overcome totally. That's when it's mamish, unexpected. Again, finding a loved one after the Holocaust that you thought that had perished. It's dangerous for the person just to walk. A person can die, God forbid. It's the Kleisa Nefesh can be total. We're in a situation we're experiencing now. I mean, there is some hope. So, but nonetheless, as time goes on, it becomes more and more healthy. And therefore, the tainug will be even greater. But it's enough already. We're ready for the big tainug makifi right now, as they all return home safely. So this is all a marshal for what? A marshal is an expression. It's an expression of mat. It's not a marshal. This is what it is. This is a tainug of Pnimi and the tainug of Yosher and the tainug of what? Of Makif. So how does it answer our question? What was the question? What's the answer? The question was what? What's the plural of one God? How many gods do you love? So what's the answer?
Ways to experience that pleasure.
Yeah. Even an example that we give, there are elements of the person acknowledges elements of logic. There are elements of logic. In the extreme case, again, a sibling that the person had thought perished. There's elements of logic. People can't survive, and it is possible you didn't find out about them. We had a case here in Mama's a case here, and this is exactly what happens. Completely overwhelmed. Zalman, when he discovered that his brother was alive after all these years, living in Vilna, had to go with him. Couldn't go alone. It's one of the memorable moments of my life. So, but there's an element of seichel. These things can happen. There's this element of seichel and come from the moon. There are hidden children, and these happen. So this is the element of Yosha there, but it's nostalgic. It doesn't settle there because the overwhelming experiences in your makif this is completely unexpected and not thought possible. Continuing now, Bezi Fanim Elo, second line from the top of the page, right? We'll have the same layout. Yeah, so it's the second chapter of Ois Beis. Beis, it gets somewhat to get geographically technical, labels, levels, which we need to get straight, and then we try and understand it. Beis Fanim Elohim. So these two dimensions of tainug, Pnimi and Makif, Yosher or Chayzer, are the elements of Chesed and Gvur of tainug. As he goes on now to explain, V'hainu Shatainug shebechinas Pnimi sheba b'derech Yosher. So the delight that's experienced internally and grasped, Yosher. So that is an expression of the chesed level of tainug, which comes down and chesed settles. Chesed like water. In fact, water, as we point out, right, is in fact the physical incarnate of chesed. And the nature of water is that it settles and suffuses. It descends and is contained and rests in a vessel. It'll always find the lowest level. So this is the level of tainug that settles comfortably, as it were, in the mind and the heart, and it's a beautiful, contained experience. It fills the mind and fills the heart with the delight of the wonderful news. And then there's then there's the tainug that is not settled. It keeps on, as it were, bouncing out, but this is, it's the constant ispilus, never leaves. The impossibility of it is forever present. That's the gvura, that's fire. The nature of the wick is that it ascends and it's held back. right? It's on the one hand tearing itself away from the wick. At the same time, it's tethered to the wick. It's constant to and from motion, like a rotzev v'shuv. So a very wondrous delight, completely unexpected. It descends and then descends. Of course, it descends in the mind and heart. That's where you experience it. But how do you experience it? In the way of his spilus. So what he just said, he just gave us some more names and an address. What did he just add now in these few lines? Not much masbara yet, at least not for us. But what do we have? We got new words. What are the two words he added?
Shemayim.
Chesed and Gevura. Shemayim is the Begashmi. We're talking about the Tainug, Chesed and Gevura. That the Hamshacha, the Yashar component is Chesed. It's all going to lead us to Avraham and Yitzchak and Yaakov. Okay, so yeah, that's what you just added here. The Tainug of Pnimi, that's the Chesed Shebetainug. The Tainug, which is Makif, which we're explaining, is the Gevura component of Tainug, namely, like Mayim and Eish. Yeah, that's what's just added now. Let's continue. And so till now we're talking now next paragraph rather. Till now we're talking about Tainug. Now it comes subtle. Delight. Delight is not the same. He's going to talk now about love. Are they the same? No, they're not. What's the difference? Anybody wants to suggest a difference? Pasha Dawg, McGill student. These are words Tainug, Ava. What's the difference? Love, delight. We talk about Ava B'Tanugim. A love of delights, but they're not the same thing. What would you say the difference between Av and Tainug is?
Love is not you. Pleasure is you.
Love is not you. So what is love?
Love is an expression of you, and Tainug is more of you.
Okay, we will accept that because that's true. Tainug is the source of love. Love is already a description of the relationship. You're drawn to the person, you want to be close to the person. It's going to say, within Ava, there's Chesed Sheba'ava and Gevura Sheba'ava. We'll get to that in a moment. But Ava is already a description of the interaction, the engagement, the connection between you and the person or the object of your love. Tainug is the source of that. Why are you going there? Why are you attracted? Why are you engaging that person? The source of it all is Tainug. And Tainug at the end of the day means because I see somehow myself there or the completion of myself there. Let's see inside the Maimer. We just described now in Tainug the Chesed component, the Gevura component, as we just explained. That's Tainug. On the Melosh Lakoso, Mayofis Av Betanug Yemashma. The pasuk is describing how beautiful and how pleasant is the love of delights. Mashma Shegam Be'ava, which is a chidush. Yeshnam Beizi Fanim Manal. Av is Chesed, so Av is just one thing. No, even in love itself, there is the inyan of a Yosher Chayzer or Chesed Sheba'av, Gevura Sheba'av. which will now explain, Be'ezer Hashem. Be'ezer Hashem is for us, that we will get it. The Maimon is explaining it. Be'ezer Hashem will understand it. We're kind of learning together, folks, so so love is born from intellect. That's no news, in brackets. All emotions are born from intellect. Anybody wants to elaborate a little bit? I'm a Guild student. That's nice. What does it mean? All emotions are born from intellect. Can I give him a little bit of explanation? Can't have an emotion without intellect. They're not instinctual emotions. That the child doesn't have emotions. Okay, so this is one of the biggest sugyas in Chassidus possible, because it's all about Chassidus. One of its main objectives is that we should love God and be in awe of Him. It's all about seichel and midas. So the emes says that the midas have their root in the nefesh deeper than seichel. Noilda does not mean that their whole existence is born from, like yesh me'ayin, from seichel. It's not so. What the seichel does is direct them. Love what? Be in awe of what? And it has to be from seichel. There has to be some kind of awareness. A child, so the emes is, it's the instinctual emotions that are being expressed. And it's not so much ava and yira, it's just pleasure and pain, really. The child is experiencing his pleasure and pain. Ava means this is a wonderful thing and I want to be close to it. There's no such decision in the child. It's just, this is pleasurable and this is painful. In other words, what we see in the child is more the tainug, which is the more atzmi, more essential components of the human identity, is at birth. The I am is a child, and that's tainug. This hurts. This is painful, and this is pleasurable. It hurts to be hungry. Yeah, it scream. It's pleasurable to have a full tummy. Then smile, gurgle, and burp. That's more a tainug thing. But Gashmi is the tainug and tsar. Not so much av. The loves start to grow later. The emes, they're rooted in the nefesh, they're very deeply, but they're expressed later as the intellect grows. As the intellect grows, our attractions and fears, our loves and fears change accordingly. What you're scared of as a child, you're not afraid of when you're older. What you loved as a child, you wanted to have, now is insignificant. Your bigger toys. Actually, there's still toys, but there's bigger toys, more expensive. Right? That's all expression. And between men and boys, the price of their toys, something like that. Because as you get more aware, so the emotions, the desire to have or to stay away from, ava is to be close, yir is to stay far from, basically. Attraction, withdrawal. So they are determined by awareness, by understanding. To take that further. So there has to be awareness. If God forbid a human being was deprived of all sensory perception, a child born and never sees or hears anything. Can't even, God forbid, not to feel even their body. There can be no emotions. There's no emotion. There'll be just the tainug. This is something hurts or doesn't hurt. But there can be no emotion. It has to be in the mind. I think, therefore I am. It's got to be in the mind that you experience, that there's awareness, and then the emotions will follow. Is this somewhat clear?
only thing you don't need seichel for is emunah.
That's instinctual. That's instinctual. Yeah.
Whether you understand God or not.
That's right. It's even deeper than Tainug, in a way. Well, it's a level of Tainug. I am a Jew, and I'm a Jew. I am is bound up with them, a part of Hashem. So the emunah springs from there. Yeah. Yeah. But in order for the emunah to be felt in the mind, you need the mind's got to be developed. Again, if a child, a human being, God forbid, I mean, just says, is deprived of just lives in total darkness, no sound, no nothing. They won't entertain faith in God either. There's no keli. It's all there, but it's just not expressed, can't be expressed. The expression, the experience of everything is in the mind. That's the theater of but it needs to, where are you feeling it? Where are you expressing it? In your mind, in your awareness. It's hidden seichel, but it's still there. It's the theater of consciousness. Consciousness, you need consciousness. You need consciousness to be able to express it. The emunah will be there because you have a neshama, and all the midas are there, but there's just no place to go. A horrifying experiment. Whoever anyway, let's continue. So seichel in brackets. But where does seichel come from? But deeper still, again, the I am. The seichel is born from the light. That requires a bit of explanation. Seichel is born from the light. You can't understand something you don't have time again. So what does this mean? It means you're not going to think about this if you don't have some personal investment. You just won't go to that subject. If it doesn't interest you at your core, then you'll give birth to no intellectual appreciation of the subject and certainly no emotional relationship. It all starts with the tainug. This sounds all very selfish, and indeed it is. Indeed it is. The Eibishter made us this way, that what drives us at our core is the self. We once spoke about this because it's all about bittul and we're talking about the neshama too, not just nefesh habahamis, and primarily the neshama. What's the answer to that? Aaron, you were saying, remember when you came to, are you thinking about this now? Am I triggering this for you? Well, you came to Eish, not Eish, was it Eish? Yes, so the first speech was delight, right? Your pleasure. And that's, so we're saying, then it's about the Eivish to Bittel, and then it goes back to Tainug. So then it is selfish or it's not selfish. So the big tweak is, so first taka we learn, the big news in Chassidus is, hey, it's about a kavon el yoina, and it's not about you. But then the next level is, it is about you. Why is it about you? Because the Eibishter wants you. Because the Eibishter wants you. Why did the Eibishter make us feel, all I know is me? Again, I think, therefore I am. It's the truest statement that can be said. Now, that's what Descartes labored to come up with. A philosophical statement. Everything okay, Ronnie? Okay, just the middle of the shir, yeah. Yeah. Sure. Okay, tell her to call me. We'll arrange it. Yeah, yeah. Okay, good. Bye. So he came up with this statement, right? I think, therefore I am. It's the only statement that is absolutely true. I know you exist. I know the world exists. Maybe I'm imagining it. The only thing I think, therefore I know. It's the ultimate selfish statement. It's all a person can really know is that I exist. Lama asa Hashem kacha. So because that's the truth, you should know for the Eibishter, you are everything. He desires to be part of your life. You look at another Jew and you understand the same thing is true of him. And almost every human being, from Klali. Bishvili Nivra Olam, Adam and Chava, they're the founders of humanity. They were created singular and alone because every person, every human being on the planet is obligated to say, Bishvili Nivra Olam, God wants a relationship with you. Remember? And that answers how we transform the sheker into what? Into the keresh, into the boards of the Mishkan, the kesher, the connection to Hashem. What was the big question we have? That you can't transform a lie. What does this mean? Lies are exposed. Doesn't mean you make from sheker into kesher. Ma pirusha b'dov. Can't transform a lie. The answer is yes. Because the big lie is all I know is me. And the lie component is there is nothing else. I just know me. I think therefore I am. Don't change that. It's all about you. Just transform it. The reason you feel all I know is me, because you are an expression of the Yeshua Amiti. Your Yeshus is the expression of the Yeshua Amiti, that the true Eibishter wants, the true being, be part of your life. That's why you feel your Yeshus. So take that sheker and don't do away with it. Just turn it into the deepest kesher. All you know is me, Taka, your davening, and your mitzvah, your chitas, and your Rambam, and the way you deal in business with your wife and children. This is the kavanah al yonim, nothing else. Don't start being humble here. You are everything. Why? Because that's what Eibishter decided. Because he put a piece of himself in you and you're everything. And it's true of everybody else too. Everybody is everything. That's why it all starts with Tainug. Tainug is Yeshus, me. Yeah, because the Kavan is you. The Yesha Anivra is the expression of the Yesha Amiti. The reason why we walk around with I am that I am, nobody else does, no Malach does, nobody in all of Ishtalshalas, they would never dare say such a thing. And they look at this world and they say, disgusting, I am that I am. What big liars you are. The emes is that I am of this world.
Rabbi, I don't know if the audio is working.
Huh?
Oh, I don't hear anything. I don't know if other people have it or if it's on my end, but the audio cut out about a minute ago.
We're good here. We're good here.
Yeah, I hear it as well. You hear me? This one's on you.
I can't hear what you're saying. What did they just say?
I couldn't hear you.
You hear me? I couldn't hear you, but everyone else hears you. So
What is going on here?
the problem's on his side. It's on his side.
Okay. So just to conclude that what I was just saying, that the final words, that the Olam Esel Yonim, even the lowest level of Malchus, the Malchus Dasiya, looks at this world and says, how could you say this? Parai said it. Parai said, I am the Nile, I made myself. And what does Kabbalah says about Parai? That Parai is Periya Kol Nahoirin. Priya. Parai is the level, the Shadish of Parai is peeling back all the lights, the Etzem. Because the Etzem, I am that I am of the Eibishter, isn't the I am that I am of the Yesh HaNivra. You attack everything because you are an expression of his Nisav HaKadosh Baruch. And that makes you everything. Dafke Parai, the ultimate arrogance. The Tanyan HaGodol HaRoivitz B'Seich HaYo'er, described by the great crocodile that what's Roivitz? I mean, the translation. In the Nile, that Nile as in denial, his denial of the Eibishter, in that absolute denial which is worse than denial, just ignoring God. I am. In that I am is the I am ha'amiti. That's the Dira b'tachtonim. That's where the Eibishter is found, which means in you and in me. But it all starts with Tainuk, continuing now. So he just traced it back. The midas are born from Seichel. The Seichel is born to Tainuk. V'lachein, therefore, gam ba'ava shebelev, even though in between there's the Seichel. But the love that's in the heart, we trace it back to its source. It must have some fueled by the original I am, my delight. I see me there. Here, black and white fast. You're not going to like something you want it. Because you have the pleasure in that. What's the pleasure in that? Fulfills me. Let's finish the next two lines. Therefore, the longing and the thirst, and then the person has this great love, he's got to get this. He wants it because he sees me there. That's what gave birth to the intellect, the mind that appreciates the Maila. It starts with the Tainug, that's me. The mind appreciates it, that's me. And the love is born, I got to get it. The longing for it, thirsting for it, that's the process. It all starts with, I see me there. And the more I see me there, the more the Ava, the greater the Ava. Okay, let's continue. That's Chesed Shebetainik. What's Gevurah Shebetainik? We'll see. Okay, Be'ez Hashem tomorrow.